I'm delighted today to be here with Aaron Tindall. I've known Aaron for many, many years. So how do the products that you use help you to continue to grow as a player? And we should mention that, you know, you've brought out your own range of tuba mouthpieces now for a very broad scope of different instruments and different types of playing. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I had always, as I had mentioned, I had always played Dennis Wick mouthpieces. I had never really found a tuba mouthpiece that really worked for me, because I'm pretty picky, as most people are, and Warren Deck had made me a few mouthpieces out of some old Bach 24AW, just standard blanks, and had put them on his lathe in his garage, and we had trimmed out the rims and the cups and the bores. I mean, you can make a lot, if you kind of know what you're doing, and drilling out throats. And I mean, he had done so many things for me, and we were just talking, one day, and he said, you should do a mouthpiece line. And, and nobody's ever really done a line that focused on, the different sets of tubas, because there's so many tubas, and it is not, a one mouthpiece fits all solution. No. And, tuba players, I think the hardest thing that we have to conquer in an audition is really picking up one horn and putting down another, and switching between excerpts and high tuba and low tuba, contrabass tuba, to E flat or to F tuba, whatever it is that you play as an artist. So we really went with the concept of keeping the same rim, and I liked Warren's rim quite a lot. Very comfortable. It's got a nice bite. It's rounded just enough to give you enough support for playing. It really aids in clearly defined articulations and stability, for the chops. And so we went with that, for all eight models that I have. And we have a ninth one that's about to come out, the AT0. I think a lot of people will really like that. And we just went on and designed a range, so really the 0, 1, 2, and the 3 are focused for C tubas, and the 0, 1, and 2 are pretty massive size mouthpiece, really large throat, really produce a really broad sound. There's a lot of volume in the cups, the 1 is a funnel, the 2 is a bowl, the 3 is back to a funnel. I say the AT3 is the audition mouthpiece. So many people have won, some stunning jobs in the last 5 years using the AT3. And then the 4 is a Geib style mouthpiece, and it's great for like rotor C tubas or rotor F tuba. It just really works great with rotary instruments. The 5 is the same as the 2, but just a smaller cup, and has more of that Bach 24AW DNA into it, like the 2. So the 2 and the 5 have the Bach 24 DNA kind of packed into it. The AT6 is more of a larger funnel mouthpiece for F tuba or for E flat players that like that depth, but still maybe want more of like a Helleberg kind of funnel concept to it, but really works great for the upper tuba. And then the 7 and the 8 are your solo mouthpieces. The 7's got a little more volume in the cup, the 8 a little less volume in the cup. The 8 is kind of like a super soloist mouthpiece, I call it, and they have smaller throats, but the whole range has the same rim, so the player can go between instruments and not feel a change at the chops, essentially. And anybody can contact me, and I'll give you my best advice, for which mouthpiece kind of locks up with different tubas, whether you play a rotor F tuba or a piston F tuba, or one of the classic Besson 981s, 982, or B flat tuba. There's quite a few players now in the UK that are really liking the AT2 and the AT1 over there, for their brass band needs. So
I'm very excited. I mean, not only does the mouthpiece seem to be really hitting the spot with the B flat players and then the E flat players and the brass band, but they look fantastic as well. It's a very, very great looking
striking mouthpiece. Yeah, it's a really striking mouthpiece, and a lot of research went into that. I mean, we worked for months on that to get the balance and the weight of the mouthpiece just right. There's a bulb, that is carefully placed, in the exterior shell, right at a special crucial node in the mouthpiece, and it gives a real concentrated focused, sense of power almost to the player. I call it kind of like a slotting power. It shows you where the box is for that note on that instrument when the correct slide length of the tuba matches that buzzing input into the instrument.
Yeah,
So
no, it's
results are really, really magical, I think.
yeah, exactly. That's a good word for it, because it is slotting those notes, and it's having that feeling of this note sits here on this instrument and on
Right.
this mouthpiece. And a lot of people have commented that what they find is that there's less room for error in terms of finding those different, uh, almost those different levels, where you slot the particular note on your embouchure, and it seems to work really well for them. So
Yeah, I mean, it
um,
really improves you as a player, I mean, it's a great, I mean, you have to be at the top, you have to be playing really well to play the mouthpiece really well. And the better player you are, the better results actually, the more this mouthpiece really makes, the shine come through in your playing and the sparkle. If you're a very inaccurate buzzer, meaning that you do not create accurate audiation of the pitch in your head and in your ear back to your lip, this mouthpiece will shine a spotlight on that. And actually, it's a really great training tool. So
excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, Aaron. I know you're a very busy guy, so to have managed to pin you down, I'm very grateful, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
all right, thanks so much, Brett.
Pleasure.